name is Christian Tiede. I'm one of the ministers of this church, and I'm one of the Lutheran Protestant ministers of this church. This church is very unique insofar as this church which is used by two denominations, Catholic and Protestants. And it's the oldest so-called simultaneously used church in Germany since 1513 something. Don't ask me the exact date, but it's a long time ago. When the Reformation came to this place, to Bautzen, the citizens of Bautzen became Protestants, but the cathedral chapter, which is the beautiful house, or which used to be in these beautiful houses behind the church. If you have a little bit of time, just walk around and have a look. They stayed Catholic. And often, after the Reformation, churches just changed the denomination, became Lutheran, everything was changed. But here, the dean of the cathedral chapter, the Catholic cathedral chapter, was a good negotiator, he was a good diplomat, whatever you will call it. He managed to negotiate with the city council a deal that this church could become used for both denominations ever since. For a long time, it was owned by the Catholic Church, by the Catholic Cathedral chapter, and used by the Protestants. Ever since it's nearly 2/3 is Protestant, 1/3 is Catholic. And in the 19th century, the state law changed, and after this, the Protestants became owner of their part. So it's a very fantastic, or very funny situation that we have Protestants and Catholic in one building. The Protestants own 2/3 of the church. The Catholic cathedral chapter owns 1/3 of the church, and we have everything twice. We have two altars. No, we have 3 altars. In fact, we have 2 organs, 2 fantastic organs. We have 2 vestries to prepare everything for worship. The only thing we have once is the bell tower and the bells. They can be used by both denominations to invite for their worships, and so on and so on. And there's one, but there, in fact, on our part, there's one funny thing. My Catholic colleague is allowed to use the bells only in one special situation, without having to ask me. It's when the Pope has died. Then he can switch the bells and ring them in the middle of the night, and he doesn't have to call me before that. And I agreed with this because I don't want to get a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is part of the whole story, 500 years about this church, loads of negotiations so far and so on. The church is a big construction site. If we have a look inside, please be extremely careful. I have been inside for 1 week, and when I came in this morning, loads has changed, and there's stuff laying everywhere. And please, extremely watch your steps. You can step into paint bucket or whatever, or fall over. So please watch wherever you go. And unfortunately, it might not be possible to wander around. I will show you some interesting things inside the church. There might be noises. There's construction work going on, and so on and so on. But follow me, and I think it would be best if you all stay together and then carry on inside. If you walk around the church, you will find, I'm pretty sure, 5 entrances. If you are inside, you will see 6 exits, and the reason is these 2 exits over there underneath this big painting. These are the old exits or entrances for both denominations, the Catholic and the Protestant denomination. From outside, there's only one door, and once you have entered this, there are two gates. One goes to the Protestant part and one to the Catholic part, which is part of the old story. I don't think we lock these gates anymore, and everybody has keys now for every part. So it's very good working together. We don't need to separate each other.
So there used to be a wall between.
There used to be a wall, and if we step a little bit further, there used to be the old wall, which in medieval times used to be the sort of wall which separated the clergy from the people of the town. The Lettner, in German the Lettner, I don't know the English word. This then became the part which separated the Catholic part from the Protestant part, and was for a very long time a very high gate. In the 19th century, it became a high 4.5 meter high metal gate. It was in times covered with carpets, so you couldn't even watch through. It didn't have gates. When the church was renovated in 1950 something, this very high fence was cut down to meter and 20, about this, and it became one gate. So people could walk through, and this gate used to be open all the time. We have now renovated the church interior over the last 2 years, and the gate is still there. There was a long discussion whether it would be time to get rid of this gate entirely. But funnily enough, it was the tourist people who said, you must not get rid of this gate, because that's the reason why tourists come to this church. They want to see it. And if you get rid of this, there's no reason for them to come.
You can make it into pieces and sell it.
No, like the Berlin Wall, no. So it's still there, but it will now get a second entrance. So you can really freely walk through the whole church to both pieces, to both parts, and it will get in the railing. It will get a part from the New Testament in the Bible, which is all about the unity of the whole of all Christians. So very nice, nicely designed verse from the New Testament, which you then can touch and read, and in both languages. You might know this area is also a bilingual area, German and Serb. So in both languages we will have then this verse in this railing. This church is now used by both denominations. As you can see, we can't do our worship at the same time. It will not work. So there is a good system when both each denomination can use the church for their own purposes. I'm very lucky that our Sunday worship is not the very early morning, or is a little bit later, which is 10:30, which is.
You can sleep.
I can sleep a little longer, but it starts with Catholic worship, then we continue with Protestant worship, then there will be a Catholic evening worship. So it's a house of worship throughout the week, sometimes Catholic, sometimes Protestant. And if you come visit the church, there might be a worship here, and it's either in this part or in the other part. Sometimes it's an ecumenical worship where we worship together. We have prayer times during the week, which we do ecumenically, because it's a church. That's the story of this church, working together. Even we are not one single denomination, but the whole story is about trying to worship together, trying to do things together, trying to pray together, even though we are still in parts separated. Okay, that's all about it. No, it's again. Let's try to walk towards the gate. Okay, we are now at the place where both parts are sort of separated from each other. The old gate. This is in fact part of the old 4.5 meter high gate. So if you try to imagine the time 150, 160 years ago, early 19th, 20th century even, this gate was 4.5 meters high, no gate, no entrance, no nothing. It really did separate both parts from each other. And step by step, we are sort of opening this. We are going to open this gate. It's now only a gate where you can talk to each other, you can watch both parts, and it has two gates, which theoretically we could close, but we won't close them. They will stay open. People can walk through the whole church and visit both parts. The Catholic part is this area. The old high altar is now the Catholic altar. That's the part where the Catholic denomination is gathering for worship. Sorry, it's construction site. This is the Protestant altar. So this is where the Protestant denomination is gathering for their worship. There's not sure whether you have noticed, there's one other funny thing about this church. If you might have noticed when we met over there, the church is slightly bended. It's not straight. It has a knick, a bend, and it's exactly here. There are lots of stories about why this happened, and I think the most logical reason is as all those churches, they didn't start, and when this church was built first, it wasn't this massively big cathedral church as we can see it now. It has changed from time to time. When people came to Bautzen to settle here, they started with a small church. That's what they could afford, what they could do in a very short time. They were looking for something together for worship, and so they built themselves a small church on this side. And then people became richer, and they had more money to spend on the church. The population did grow, and they had to extend this church. So they knocked down all the old walls and built a bigger church. But when they were started to do this, they had already built their own houses there. And there are the old cathedral chapter houses on the other side. And there was just a discussion whether we knock down our houses or whether we do something with the church. And they decided not to knock down their own houses, but to slightly bend the church.
Where's the Catholic altar is there? And where's
the main altar is the Catholic altar.
And where's the Protestant altar?
This one, behind you. This is a 1950s alteration, so to speak. The old Protestant altar used to be there. But it's sort of not centered, and you can't really work with this. If people sit there and somebody is worshipping, they don't see them, they don't see each other. So in the 1950s, this became the Protestant altar, and this is used for occasional prayer times. We will most likely change this this situation, this altar, but only in the next 2 or 3 years.
So again, it's a major change.
Those buildings they are always a construction site. This it's not major change, but it's something we're looking forward to.
And what is going to happen? What kind of change?
The idea is to ask a few architects, to develop an idea on how to deal with this situation, because we have changed this area insofar as we have changed the benches. The pews are fewer pews than we had before. They stepped a little bit towards the end. There used to be pews here and there. We got rid of those pews to open up this space. And once this church was scaffolded over 2 years, once all the scaffolding disappeared, we realized that this area doesn't work anymore. The symmetry doesn't work, so we have to do something.
Yeah.
But we want to take enough time not to do it overnight. It's something we can deal with. We can work with this situation for the next 2 or 3 years, maybe forever. But we could always also do something much more, much nicer, much more contemporary.
So when you celebrate a Protestant service here,
Yeah.
this part is empty.
Yes.
But the people can look from there to
Exactly.
towards. They can
Yes.
see the high altar.
Yes. Yes, and this is part of the whole story as well. If we have our worship, people look into the Catholic part. If my Catholic colleague celebrates on this altar, you can always watch into the Protestant part. So it's a constant working together, seeing each other. It's an ecumenical partnership in this place, in this town, is something. It's an everyday life thing.
Do you sometimes celebrate an ecumenical
Yes,
service?
yeah. We do quite a lot of ecumenical services. We will have ecumenical prayer times during the week. Every week, at least one ecumenical prayer. We have quite a lot of ecumenical worships together, which has to do with the other part of the Bautzen story, which is the old the political prison. I mean, Bautzen is very well known. When I came to Bautzen 2 years ago, I didn't know very much about this church. But what people know in Germany is that Bautzen is used to have the most notorious political prison in East German times. So there is, and part of this, part of the Bautzen story, if you want to say it this way, is that this is something we are constantly remembering in this place. This is part of our, I would say, of our duty to remember this very awful, horrible history which Bautzen had. If you will be in Bautzen at 9 o'clock in the evening, there will be one bell ringing on the bell tower every evening at 9 o'clock. In medieval time, this used to be the bell which told people, please hurry up, the town gates will close in a few seconds. During East German times, this used to be the bell which reminded everybody that they are political prisoners, not very far from here, and that they must not be forgotten. And I know from people who used to be prisoners there, they knew that this bell was for them to remind everybody that they are political prisoners in this town, and it did encourage them very much that they didn't feel forgotten. And it's still there. There are no political prisoners anymore, but it's still every day at 9 o'clock ringing. And for everybody who knows this, I think it's a very strong sign.
About how many Catholics and how many Protestants are there? I mean,
I know.
1/3 and 2/3 reflects.
No.
also.
It doesn't really reflect. I think both Protestant and Catholic congregations are very big in their own diocese. So our Protestant congregation is the one of the biggest in our diocese. We have 5,000 members, and I think the Catholic
How many?
5,000.
5,000.
The
Catholics
are sort of, wissen Sie wie viel? I think it's sort of equal.
But I mean here in the city.
They meet here, but we also have another church. We have two more churches in the town center. There's another Catholic church
Did they
here.
practice this 5,000 for example, on Sunday service?
No.
What is the percentage of the people coming to church on Sunday?
We have in both churches, I would say 250, 300 people worshiping.
Altogether.
No, in our Protestant part. And I don't know the Catholic numbers.
Because you're never here when they are celebrating. But in
to be honest, I've never been here. I've only worshipped in this church twice.
I see.
Because after I started to become a minister here, the church was closed for construction.
Of course, yeah.
So
Now there
I've
is
seen it from construction side meetings.
I understand. So if there are 5,000 Catholics, it may be almost the same, and 200 are the people going to church about in the other church.
Yeah, 200, 300 there on Christmas service.
Okay.
Of course, it's 2,000-3,000.
How many on Christmas church?
700 on Christmas service. We have easily 700, but we have 2 or 3 services here. So each 700. So 2 churches. I think we will have altogether 3,000.
I'm not sure if Bautzen has 5,000 Catholics. I don't think so.
There's a difference between our denomination and the Catholics. The Protestant St. Peter's denomination is only people who live inside Bautzen. There's another Protestant congregation which is for all the villages around Bautzen. The Catholic is both villages and the town.
Yeah.
So they.
And how many seats have you got? So how many people can enter some concert?
800, 900.
900. If they came all together, 5,000, they wouldn't be praised.
No chance at all. Okay. Are there any questions at this time?
You mentioned the Christmas services.
Yeah.
I mean, that is full house normally. But also then the Catholic are only using this pass. They don't use post pass.
No.
No.
There are occasional services where both parts are used. For instance, for Kirchweihfest. Don't know what it's in English.
Special occasion.
Special occasion when the Catholic bishop would come to celebrate. Then they would use both parts. We will have reopening service on November the 14th, where we will use both parts, although it's an ecumenical service. So if there is a big service in either part, then they would use both parts. But this is part of the very good relationship. We are in constant communication with each other. We have to, otherwise.
Is this the only example of such?
It's the oldest in Germany, and it's one of the very few in East Germany. There are a few more in Western Germany, but often those simultaneously used churches, they're separated. So there's a wall between both parts. A proper wall. So at some point in the medieval time, the wall came in, and they can use their parts whenever they want. There is no working together or no open space. Whereas here we really have to work together, and we do so. It's a very special in some cases.
But I think there are a few churches around where Catholics and Protestants use the same church, but it's owned by the Lutherans, and the Catholics can use it, but it's not the same like here.
Yeah, it's where there is sort of an agreement.
Yeah.
That, the other denomination can use
Yeah. The house or
the building. But here it's really this part. I'm not in charge of this part, only of this part.
Yeah.
So.
So the
we only pay
reconstruction
the bills for this part.
will be paid by both.
Yes. This is
So because
1/3 to 1/3.
1/3, 2/3.
Okay.
And this is exactly 1/3, 2/3.
the heatings or
There's no heating. If
no,
you
but
will be
the
here, electricity again. I mean, it's divided. It depends who switches on the light. Has to pay.
to counter.
Yeah, and to everything. So it's modern time. You can do it. I'm not an electrician, but
Like husband and wife.
we will have a very modern with touchpad and things.
Wow.
And it checks who has started the machine. But I mean, it's now a low energy light bulb.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Ja.
Danke
So.
für das Gespräch.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.